What do you think Will was the only anime fan around here, did you?
I have always been sort of a Johnny-come-lately to a variety of things. My younger days were pretty much focused on other aspects of life, so I did not get into anime until my 30s. But when I did, I fell into it big time. Anime is an interesting class of entertainment. In my opinion, it is not easy to explain a lot of anime in a couple of sentences. It's not like, say, explaining Ninja Turtles. Here you have 4 half-turtle, half-human hybrids who learn ninjutsu from a rat sensei, and they fight a bunch of bad guys called the Foot Clan. And it kind of rises and falls based on that description alone. With anime, I feel that you have to just take it for a test run. Watch it for a while and see if you can get into it. That is the reason I like watching Toonami, because it exposes me to anime that I did not know about previously. I'm always on the lookout for new anime. Another thing about anime is that it produces a lot of passion. That is both a good thing and a bad thing, as some people take it very seriously. Now, I'm not trying to step on anyone's toes or trying to start any fights. I just wanted to share with you the anime that have really had an impression on me. It is important to remember that there is no right or wrong answer. We all have our own taste in things that we enjoy, and here's mine.
Now, the same rules that Will had for his anime video, I'm adopting as well. By the way, if you'd like to see his videos, there will be links in the description below. But I'm adding one more rule for myself. I'm not allowed to choose any anime that he had in his top 10. The truth of the matter is, a lot of the anime that he likes, I also like as well. But I want my list to be as unique as possible. So, without any further ado, here is my top 10 personal favorite anime. Enjoy.
Let's kick things off with my starter anime. Now, I had seen bits and pieces of other anime when I was younger. Some Sailor Moon here, some Speed Racer there, but nothing that really got me into it. It wasn't until my stepbrother came to live with me for a while, and he introduced me to this thing entitled Bleach. At first I thought, that's a pretty weird name. But I found myself instantly hooked, thus beginning my love affair with anime. That is why I consider Bleach my starter. Now, for the longest time, Bleach was considered one of the big 3, along with Naruto and One Piece. Meaning, these shows have been considered the most popular, with how long they've run and with the huge fan bases that they've accumulated. However, they have also amassed a large amount of haters as well. It does come with the territory. When something reaches that level, it is expected. I do, however, acknowledge some of the complaints. Bleach does have a large amount of filler, aka episodes and storylines that did not take place in the manga that it was based upon. But Bleach does have many strong points as well. The story follows Ichigo Kurosaki, a 15-year-old boy, even though he looks 30, who is a resident of Karakura Town, who possesses strong spiritual powers, meaning he can communicate with the dead. His life is changed forever when he meets a Soul Reaper named Rukia Kuchiki. Unable to continue with her duties, she gives her powers to Ichigo, turning him into a substitute Soul Reaper, giving him the abilities to battle monstrous ghosts called Hollows. Ichigo, along with his classmates, who also have their own spiritual powers, travel between the human world and the spirit world of the Soul Society, where he does battle with high-ranking Soul Reapers and later on more powerful adversaries. Like in any good shonen, after defeating a powerful, dangerous opponent, there is a group of even more powerful ones right around the corner. Bleach does have a large cast, which again is a point of contention, as some people have accused many of the cast members of blending in with each other. But Bleach does have some very memorable ones as well, like the crazy giant Kenpachi, Renji, who is a powerful and lovable guy even though he gets his butt kicked a lot, the red-hot Orihime, and personal favorite support character, Rukia's brother, Byakuya, who is a supreme badass. Bleach is an anime that was not trying to be thought-provoking or more than the sum of its parts. It's just very entertaining, with its colorful cast and crazy battles. It's a fun 30 minutes for me whenever I sat down and watched. It may have gone a little too long, and some of the story arcs may not have been as good as others, but it was overall very good at what it was trying to be. No more, nothing less.
I think it's time to blow this scene. Get everybody in the stuff together. Okay, 3, 2, 1, let's jam.
Now here we have a true masterpiece. The show gets a heap of praise and it's easy to see why. And I proudly admit that I am one of the many who got caught up in the awesome space trip to the stars. About 160 years from now, give or take, the planet Earth is now unable to sustain life due to a hyperspace gateway accident. So now humanity is spread out among the stars. With crime running amok, bounty hunters are often called in to track down criminals. Among these bounty hunters, who are called Cowboys, is Spike Spiegel, a former mafia hitman. He is a member of the spaceship Bebop, which includes a former law enforcement officer, Jet Black, a sexy con artist, Faye Valentine, a skilled, eccentric hacker, Edward, and a genetically engineered dog who might be the smartest member of the crew. The first thing that caught my attention was the look of the show. It is just visually very cool to look at. It's a mixture of many types of themes and genres, such as film noir, westerns, action cop drama, martial arts, and comedy. To me, the strength of Cowboy Bebop are the characters themselves. Each of the crew members are entertaining as hell, with their own quirks and personality traits, but ultimately, they're all dealing with their own loneliness. They are a motley crew that have attached to each other, as in this big universe, they're the only ones I can really rely on. But eventually, their pasts come back to haunt them. Cowboy Bebop was influenced heavily by Western themes, and one great example is the outstanding music, filled with blues and jazz, making it one of the most memorable soundtracks around. This makes Cowboy Bebop one of the more easily accessible animes for Western audiences. It was easy for me to care about this ragtag bunch, as they deal with many zany events and gut-punching tragedies that come their way. For anyone out there who thinks that animation is just for kids, I give you Exhibit A. Cowboy Bebop is a well-crafted work of art, deserving all the praise it has received. And that ending, man. That ending. Even years later, people are still talking about it. This show belongs on anyone's top 10 anime list. Why? Because the character is named Gene, of course. And as we all know, everyone named Gene is just plain awesome. Okay, all jokes aside, Outlaw Star was a show recommended to me by my cousin. I watched the first episode and was immediately hooked. Space has always been the place, as a huge fan of Star Trek and Star Wars. I've always been drawn to space operas and action adventures beyond the stars. So this was right up my alley. Scientists create a new spacecraft that can travel at the speed of light, allowing humans to reach out into deep space. But upon this new frontier, groups comprising of assassins, pirates, and outlaws begin to flourish. This brings in our hero, Gene Starwind. He, along with his kid business partner Jim Hawking, take on jobs as bodyguards for an outlaw named Hilda. They soon find themselves in ownership of the ship named the Outlaw Star, and the caretakers of an innocent bio-android named Melfina. They decide to head out into space and search for a great treasure called the Galactic Ley Line. Along the way, they meet up with adversaries turned allies, Twilight Suzuka, a skilled contract killer, and an eccentric cat girl named Aisha Clan Clan. I've always seen Outlaw Star kind of like Pirates of the Caribbean, but just on a galactic scale. As this motley crew of the Outlaw Star battle against numerous opposition as they search for their hidden treasure, Gene Starwind carries the show with his charm, wits, and reckless attitude. Haunted by the death of his father, Gene overcomes his fears and dares to reach for his dreams. He is also quite a hound if you know what I mean. And it is no surprise that I like the guy so much, as he was named after the greatest Gene of them all, Gene Roddenberry, of course. Outlaw Star, at its core, is a story of daring to go after your goals, or play it safe and stay on the ground. Whether you will spend your life asking yourself, what if, or gather your entire life in one moment and achieve something glorious. Sometimes, that is the greatest adventure one can possibly have. No wonder Joss Whedon ripped this show off when he made Firefly. Oh, did that come out of my mouth? I'm just kidding. There is no evidence that he did. It may have just been coincidences. Besides, it's not like Joss Whedon has ever been accused of copyright infringement before. Here's one anime I discovered one Saturday night on Adult Swim. The animation was the first thing I took notice of. It possessed a distinct style that I had never really seen before. But as I watched, I discovered that Code Geass had much more going for it. A great deal more. Set in an alternative universe, the world is divided up into 3 superpowers. One of them is the Holy Britannian Empire. The Empire conquers Japan, thanks to their mechs called Nightmare Frames. They strip all of the citizens of their rights, turning them second class. The main character of Code Geass is Lelouch, a prince of the Holy Britannian Empire, until his mother was assassinated. The incident also left his sister Nunnally paralyzed and blind. After being banished to Japan, Lelouch wishes nothing more than to take down his father's empire, and then he gets the means to accomplish this. He meets a strange girl named C2, and she gives him the special ability called Geass. This power gives Lelouch the ability to dominate the minds of anyone he chooses. With this power, Lelouch assumes a secret identity called Zero, and leads a rebellion against the Empire. I could best describe Code Geass as a political thriller, with fighting robots. The best kind. A large of the intrigue comes from the character of Lelouch himself. He is one of the most fascinating protagonists I've yet to come across. He is so many different things that his character resides in the most grayest of areas. He is the leader of the Japan Rebellion, but he himself isn't Japanese, and is basically using them as pawns while he conceals his identity from them. He is trying to make the world he lives in a better place, but he will do it by any means necessary to accomplish it, even kill the people he cares for. Lelouch does commit many atrocities in the name of his cause, but he never fully goes into the realm of villain like, say, a Light Yagami. He does have a conscience, and a strong resolve that I couldn't help but admire. In my opinion, the character of Lelouch was Johnny Young Bosch at his finest. Will grew up with Gundam Wing, and I swear one day I'll get into that show too. But Code Geass was the first of these type of stories that I followed religiously. It is a strong anime with a brilliant and complex storyline. Some entertainment is designed to send political messages. Some to make statements about us as human beings. To make social commentary. Stuff like that. And then some forms of entertainment are designed just to kick. That is the purpose of Black Lagoon. Something that would not be out of place in Quentin Tarantino or Robert Rodriguez's wheelhouse. Imagine, if you will, that you are stuck in a dead-end job, stuck in a mundane life, in which you feel trapped and no end in sight. Then you get kidnapped by a group of pirates and get abandoned and left for dead by your employer. And it turns out to be the best thing that ever happened to your life. Thus is the story of Rock, a former Japanese salaryman who falls in with the Lagoon Company. Their base of operations is the city of Ruanapur, a pure haven of scum and villainy. The city is a host to the triad, yakuza, cartels, thugs, hooligans, and reprobates of all forms. But chief among them is the Russian crime syndicate known as Hotel Moscow. And there is Lagoon Company, who's just trying to earn a living. The team does business with all of them, taking tasks from smuggling, escorts, and straight-up combat. Now, it may be asked, who in their right mind would want this kind of life? Well, for Rock, he just seems to fit right in. He is a mild-mannered, humble, nice guy who never uses a gun, instead uses his brains and his gift of gab to get him out of situations. And he's also pretty lucky too. The main female lead of the series is Revy. She is strong, stubborn, impatient, ill-tempered, and a completely merciless killer. An expert in almost all firearms, she prefers using them to get what she wants, and she uses them well. At first, Revy cannot stand Rock, but over time, they form kind of a strange bond. Well, it's hard to explain, you'll just have to see it for yourself. My love for the series definitely centers on the female characters. They're all brilliant, tough, and not to be messed with. They're all awesome characters. And then there is Roberta. The word awesome is too small a word to describe her. She is a woman who I'm convinced is from the distant future, and she came back in time to kill John Connor, but in the meantime she's working as a maid. And if you mess with her family, you might as well reserve a spot in your local graveyard because you're going to end up there soon. She is... I love her. Yes, I'm in love with an anime character. It's not my fault, she made me do it. Black Lagoon is a fantastic action anime, and is one that I highly, highly recommend. Thank you for watching part 1 of my top 10 anime. Please feel free to rate, comment, and subscribe, and contribute to our Patreon if you feel like it. Stay tuned for part 2 coming very soon. Until then, keep on gaming and watching anime.